rest of the meeting. We're going to we're recording, yeah. So we're going to make some adjustments to the rest of the meeting, just in the interest of time. So the agenda will now look like this. The rec committee, we're just going to do number 2, number 4, which is Taste of the Valley and playground issues. We're going to delay the Protective Services Committee meeting until the August 19th agenda. Early August.
The special meeting when we do the tenders.
Okay. And then the environmental, we will do all of the Environmental Services Committee agenda, both number 1 and 2. Anybody oppose that?
And then we'll go into the regular.
And then we'll go into regular council meeting from there. Okay? So first item on the agenda is on the rec committee is Taste of the Valley use of Cobden Arena parking lot and Cobden Recreation Structure. I do have an update on that personally. I did meet with the Cobden Rec Association. Had a fantastic meeting with them approximately 3 or 4 weeks ago, and just last week had a meeting with the new owners of the property surrounding the agricultural grounds, and they are more than willing to work with the Taste of the Valley and the township in any accommodations that we would need, as they now own all the property around that entire area. So you'll be seeing a lot of activity on the farm. I believe it's the old Bennett farm they call it, but you'll be seeing a lot of activity during the next few weeks with respect to structures coming down and that kind of thing. And they have full intentions of making that use that property adjacent to the arena useful for parking and for crossing and that kind of stuff. So just had that conversation again with the owner of BI today, and as I say, they're more than happy to assist us. And I do have a meeting. We haven't scheduled it yet, but it's been my intention the last 2 weeks to schedule a meeting between the Taste of the Valley representative, myself, a member of the Agricultural Society, and the Rec Association. We would want to have a meeting down there on site. I know there's one coming up August 2nd, I think it was, August 4th, not September 3rd. And we will all hopefully have a consensus and move forward then. Okay, any questions on that item? Okay, going to move now to playground issues. And we have a delegation. I believe Heather Watson has a delegation.
Come on up, please. Okay.
So just I think quickly to bring everybody up to speed. Hopefully you've been able to read through your packages. There was a recommendation not to approve an installation of pay structure, and then you see recommendations from May 6th. We had a department report from Environmental Services with background recommendation not to proceed, and I think that's why you people are here, correct?
Yes, that's why.
Great.
Yeah. So, as everybody knows, we've been trying to get this playground up. We purchased it a couple of years ago from the Rec Association. We wanted to put it at the rink. We were not able to, so we offered it to the town to put at the park where the tourist booth is. So we're well aware that it was denied because of certain issues. Installation issues. So what I'm here today is just to talk a little bit about them. I think there's been some misinformation. Our playground that we have purchased is IPMA certified. It's CSA certified. It has everything that you need to be able to put up. I know what the problem was is that we wanted to have playground installer to install. from the township. They were talking about getting an installer. I know Mr. Hudson was talking to a member of Pembroke Council, and they advised him not to install. Sorry, I haven't done this before. He advised him not to install the playground without having an installer. I know I was talking to Mr. Hudson, and he contacted Shannon Swarmer from Playground Planners, and she declined. Now, the reason that I was given was because they didn't know the product, and she thought it wasn't CSA approved. So I talked to Mrs. Swimmer myself and explained to her what the product was, sent her the information. She then realized it was a proper playground you can install, but they do not install playgrounds that are not purchased from their company. So basically, it's like anything else. You have a company that you work for, they install for them, they don't install somebody else's playground. The reason why we bought the playground we did with the Rec Association was because of price. We brought it from the United States. Their price could not be matched here. But they are the oldest and the largest company in the United States. So they have been around for forever, so it's not just a fly-by-night company. They were very upset that they felt that their standards were not to par. I don't know how much more you want me to go into it.
Maybe we'd go into some questions.
Sure.
Just one question I'd have is that I've never actually, as I don't think any New Council has seen even what this thing looks like. So if you could maybe pass around even what the play structure
Very
looks
small.
like.
It's for ages 5 and under.
Okay.
I looked it up on the internet.
And so if anybody has any questions for the delegation, maybe we can. Yep, sure.
My name is Dave Alexander, and I'm the president of the Foresters Falls Athletic Association. So I'm here with Heather for our interests, which are in Foresters Falls. In the last 2 to 3 years, our demographics have significantly changed, and we do have quite a number of young families with young kids in the area now. So we do have a need for a similar piece of equipment. And looking at the funds that we might possibly be able to raise, this particular piece of equipment would fall into the price range that we might be able to hope to do in Foresters Falls as well. So whatever decision comes about here for this particular piece of playground equipment will obviously affect us as well, and all the other rec associations within the region. So we're quite interested in that. In doing some homework on this and following up after speaking to Heather and that, as far as I can find out, and everything I've been able to look up and research, is that there is essentially one standard for playground equipment in Canada. It's the CSA-Z614. This particular piece of equipment does meet that. We have a certification for the overall playground piece of equipment. We have an overall certification for each component within this particular piece of equipment. It also appears that there are no written policies or guidelines on what is required for equipment installation. There's no certification for installers per se. However, there are certified inspectors. Once the equipment is in the ground and set, they can come in and inspect it and certify that it does meet these requirements. That said, from my perspective, I'd like to know what the council or township standards are for these installations, what requirements we have to meet in order to do this, and is there a reason why we can't buy a certified piece of equipment, have it installed by whomever, and then have it certified by a certified inspector, and therefore carry on from that point?
Great question. Mayor Johnson?
There is a standard for any installation of a CSA or ANSI or URL or any of them, and that is manufacturer specs.
Right, yeah.
And they will send them, they're in there somewhere in the box.
These manufacturer specs for this particular is volunteer. It's basically, that's the reason why we purchased it as well, because it is a small structure. It is made for commercial use, but for easy installation for volunteers to do.
Your inspector will only come and look at the instructions and say it's in according to instructions. And then it's approved.
So your person is Steve Vigan?
I'm not entirely sure of that. What I was going to ask also is could you have, if volunteers put it up to meet the standard, which is the instructions that you will get?
That's what we want to have, and that just like Forsters Falls did and Beachburg has in the past. The reason I think the issue is, and no disrespect to anybody, but Mr. Hudson, from what I've had from emails, has just declined that.
Depends on where we get our advice, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Christine?
You sure can.
Yeah, I had a discussion with Reeve Miller and Steve Hodson yesterday in my office. We are currently in touch with our insurers to get the final say on can volunteers, can this be installed? Does it meet a municipal standard? Because there is a different standard for installations of playground equipment, it's my understanding, on public lands than on private lands. Could volunteers install it? Does it have to be professionally installed? So it was an excellent question from Terry, and I appreciate that. So really, I would like to bring back our insurer's recommendation to council, because the whole issue, it's not that this isn't a great idea. Everything falls to liability.
I could probably give you a list of 10 contractors that would donate their time to a good cause like this. Personally, it seems like we're getting in the way of people trying to do good in the community, so as long as we're covered, I think we should try to move this forward.
Well, yeah, because you're looking at, we have had playgrounds, and I hate to bring that up, but that have been installed with volunteers. I have talked to Councillor Jackson about that. I've had emails that Mr. Hudson said that, let's see where I can find it first there. Forsters Falls and Beachburg went ahead and put up a playground with no notification or proper installation. Now you can talk to Mr. Alexander. He has talked to council. Whitewater donated sand. It was brought to their attention. Right. So
just keep in mind the department heads. The department heads their job is to protect the municipality. So
definitely, totally understand.
They're going to err on the side of caution every single time. So
definitely,
that's
I just don't understand why it would be a different situation for that than it is now. Because it was what, 2 years ago, year and a half. My husband helped.
It was
put
5, 6 years ago.
No.
Yeah, it was.
Put it up?
Oh yeah.
Oh wow, time is flying.
Yeah. Okay. Sorry, Councillor Mackay.
Yeah, we have. I'm on the Beachburg Fair Committee, and we have a playground put together by the firefighters and volunteers, and it's been a big success. I mean, this is a rocket science, and if these people you can trust them to fix your house or fix your car or produce your food, surely they can fix a child little tot plaything. So I think it's a good idea.
The equipment comes with a very, very detailed instruction manual. I think it's about 80 or 90 pages, double-sided, step by step by step on how to put this thing together. So as Dave just mentioned, as long as you're careful and considerate as you go through it, it's hard to do it wrong. So I'm hoping we can get council support on this. As Christine said, she's going to confer with the insurance company and the municipal standards. And I hope that if they do and they come back with some statement like must be professionally installed, that we get some definition of what professionally is, and that it meets some defined standard that we can go and meet, as opposed to just somebody's impression of what professional is.
Councillor Jackson?
I think one of the most important things that the Steve Fagan or whoever the playground inspector is for Whitewater region is the underground. What is going to be as the pad, and is it sand? The type of sand? Is it going to be wood chips or whatever? And they're very specific in what is that. And in the instruction manual, does it outline how far away? And there is a CSA playground, public playground regulation that has to be followed as well, above and beyond. That I don't want to say that this is the U.S. product. This is the U.S. product. It is CSA approved. The playground is approved. Is the instructions approved? But I agree. I mean, if we can get it installed, the bonus. I hate to see a piece of playground equipment in storage for no good reason. And if I would be in favor of donating, having council donate the sand if it's required. I don't know that the sand that we have is the proper sand. I think it has to be pea sand because it's rounded instead of squared, so it doesn't compact. If you do put the proper sand in, then it also has to be rototilled every year and all of that. So, there is a little bit more to it, but, again, if the insurance company says that if it's properly installed, no matter by who, and it's inspected, I say, you know, we're for the better for it, and thank you for bringing it forward again and clarifying the issues. And I hope now that the 2 playgrounds will be installed and hope that we can hear back. So as far as moving forward with regards to having this issue move forward, are we just waiting as council? I guess, do we have okay, perfect.
Mayor?
I would like to suggest that it go by the arena, or the rink arena in Fortress Falls, because then we don't have to have little kids walking across the pond.
You know, and we did offer to Fortress Falls. That was my fault at the point because we were so frustrated. The only issue I feel with that is that this was specifically made for Cobden. Money was donated by Civitan. I personally, with 2 other friends, have fundraised for 10 years, 8 years, before we had enough money, and that was all from local, and I'm not saying just Cobden, but it was quite a bit. Now, it's up to you. You know, we did donate it, so you can decide where you want to put it.
Just to be clear here, I think we have, so what I'm seeing, there's two separate issues here. One is you have been told you can't erect a playground that's already purchased. You had a site selected, right, or not?
We had a site selected. We wanted it at the rink. We did this for the reason that, you know, we have children, they're running in the parking lot, playing on the bleachers, we have issues. So when we decided to do this venture, I was part of the Agricultural Society then, and everything was going well. We were going to put it there. Later on, it was going to go in between the curling rink and the arena. The curling rink declined, decided that they had issues with it being there. So we were going to put it in other venue areas around there. We couldn't find a spot. There was no spot. We were at the point we were going to people were talking about ripping up part of the parking lot. Well, we can't do that. So we decided as the rec association we would donate it to the township, and hopes, when I was talking to Christine, to put it down at the park because at least somebody could use it there. You know, that was the reason.
Okay, and then the other one is you have 2 sites that you want to put the similar type of structure on. It'd be one or the other site.
Yeah, it would be a future project, but again, my interest is in the outcome of this, as to whether it's something we could even do, and, you know, can we go out and buy a $7,000 or $8,000 piece of equipment, or do we have to buy a $50,000 piece of equipment, which we'll never get? So.
Okay, so I do have a motion. Be it resolved, the Recreation Committee of the Township Whitewater Region directs staff to contact the Township Insurance Company to find out more information regarding the erection of the play structure donated by the Cobden Rec Association by volunteers in municipality. By volunteers on municipal property. Mover? Mr. Mayor, seconder, or question or seconder? Seconder? Okay.
Could you just maybe perhaps add that once, if it's in favor, if we receive good results, that it go ahead immediately, that allows staff to notify the rec association that they can go ahead and get it installed by volunteers and make those arrangements rather than coming back again in August.
So you're saying, sorry, the Cobden one gets, so what about Fortress Falls? Do we want to?
Well, they don't have theirs yet, but again, obviously it would be, if it's approved for one to have volunteers do it, then it'd be approved for the other one.
Okay, and then I think we treat it as 2 separate issues, so once they get theirs, you come back and then.
Yeah, I'm okay with that.
Okay with that?
Yeah.
Okay, Councillor McLaughlin?
Just whereabouts are you going to erect it? Is it going to be in the arena area somewhere, or is it at the beach?
No, when we brought it up, it was Christine brought it to the council last year, and it was to be put near the tourist booth, because there's already playground at the at the beach.
Okay, that answers my question.
Okay, so I'll just read the motion again. Be it resolved, the Recreation Committee of the Township of Whitewater Region directs staff to contact the Township Insurance Company to find out more information regarding the erection of the play structure donated by the Cobden Rec Association by volunteers on municipal property. If in favor, staff will notify recreation staff to proceed with the installation. We're good? All in... No? All in favor? Against? Passed.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.